Welcome back to the Money, Mindset and Business podcast. If you have been listening here for a while, or if you are new, I would really appreciate it if you could give that subscribe button a click and rate the show on whatever platform it is that you're listening on. Thank you very much. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Money, Mindset and Business podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Dani. I've been trying to get her on the podcast for about a year now, and we finally got her. Woo! So, Dani, welcome. Please tell the listeners who you are and what it is that you do.
Thank you, Leah. It's great to be here and finally get booked in. So I'm Dani and I am a business mentor and coach, but I am the queen of business organisation. And that is because in 10 years that I've been in business, I realised quite quickly that being organised is fundamental. So I help women usually in service-based businesses, usually in the wellness and health industry, like therapists and coaches and things, to make more money online. So I do help people with money in a way, but I do that through strategies, systems, business management and organisation, because I just love all of that and it's what I'm really, really good at. And yeah, that's me. I'm a mum of 3. I've got a dog and a husband, and life is a bit of a juggle, which will probably play its part in my story actually. Yeah. But yeah, that's me. That's who I am.
Awesome. So Dani is going to talk to us today about her money mindset journey, and I want to acknowledge her for that, because not very many people actually feel confident enough to talk about it, especially online, and share it with people. So before we get into it, tell people where you're at now. What's the current situation like in your life right now?
I'm at the best situation I've been at. However, it does play its part where those mindset monkeys come up when normal things happen and I instantly go and I catastrophize things, and it can mean that I have to stop myself from self-sabotaging. But I am in a lot better place. So in the last, I don't know, 5-6 months, I've paid off, I checked the numbers yesterday, I should know, but I've paid off quite a bit of debt. Which is amazing. I think less than half actually. So
That's
do
really
that
good.
After I built it up over 2 years, but to get that paid off is amazing. And feeling a lot more. I've never felt as confident as I do now when it comes to making money and how I manage money. And I actually use EFT as part of my journey now, and one of the affirmations is that I am a good money manager. And just remembering that, and I am, and you know what, I always have been. Well, since I became a mum, I've always been a good money manager. But I think along the way I lost myself a bit. So it's good to be where I'm at right now and kind of overcome some things.
It's awesome. For anybody who doesn't know what EFT is, it's kind of like a tapping. So you do a series of taps in certain points along your body. Anybody who's watching on YouTube, a good one, is it here?
Yeah, kind of like, it's just below your thumb, isn't it? It's kind of hard to explain. Or is it there? Oh, there, yeah.
Oh, it's that side, yeah.
To be fair, meridian points are all over your body, so you could probably do that. But the main one is just below your little finger, like on that little part of your hand. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
And just there.
I like one that here as well. At the side of your eye, kind of on your cheekbone. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And I use one here on my neck.
I love using the collarbone one. I do that with my affirmations, so this is a really good point for me that'll raise my energy just now doing this.
yeah. So that's what EFT is, if you were wondering and you didn't know. So when did you? So you how old's your eldest? The son's your eldest, isn't he?
He's 10 now, which is scary, but he's 11 this year. Wow. So he's 10 right now.
So you've been a mother for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years plus. And you're saying that you were always a kind of a good money manager. What do you think was what was it that changed and that got you off that path of being a good money manager? Because I've got kids, so I understand how expensive they are. However, I would love to know how it impacted you and what it is that you found within yourself, how you were feeling, what it looked like.
I think for me, it was responsibility, because when I was a teenager, 18, I met my husband, so everything moved really, really fast. Like we moved in together after 9 months, found out 3 months later I was pregnant. So I think having the responsibility to pay for my own, well, it was a flat, a really small flat, but to pay for the flat and pay my own bills. And what we had back then was very, very limited. Like that house move was easy compared to the one we've just done because we didn't have much. But I think that sense of responsibility, like, oh, I've got to look after a home, and then a child was coming into it, I think that made me more aware of things because I know when we're growing up, our parents do say things like, you don't know what it's like in the real world. Oh, no, I didn't. They were right. They were right in a sense.
Yeah.
But I was ready, I kind of was ready to face it, and I started taking that responsibility. And then I think when we wanted to plan our wedding, that was the massive turning point for me in like managing money because I had a goal. Because what actually happened for us was we started saving, and we'd always, me and my husband had saved right from the beginning. We knew we wanted kids, we knew we wanted to move in together. We saved a bit, moved, carried on saving. So we had this very little savings pot. And we were like, let's get married, let's set the date. We set the date, and then like 2, 3 weeks later, we found out I was pregnant again. So then my family were like, "You still going to do the wedding?" And we were like, "Yeah, we'll just do both. It'll be tight. We're like, we'll cut down at Christmas," which is what we did, and we saved a lot of money. And we did the wedding in less than 2 years and had a baby, which wasn't easy, but we knew what we wanted, so we did it. And I think when we had to then pay for a baby and a wedding, budgeting became the thing. And at the time, I enrolled on a business course, so I was taught how to do finances and how to budget and all that stuff that was important to business. And I actually applied it to my personal life first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I did that, I got used to it. After we paid for the wedding and had the baby, I was like, oh, that was really good actually, how we've been able to do all this. And after we got married, we had money left over and we went on 2 holidays a year after. And at the time, my business wasn't succeeding. So we did it on benefits. And so to do that on such little money, I thought, right, what can I do next? So we carried on saving and carried on booking holidays until lockdown. And so that kind of got me into routine. I was like, I've done that, I've done the wedding, what can I do next? So it got me to budget and plan, and probably was start of my organisation journey, to be fair. Actually was dealing with money.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had something in my head and it's literally gone. Usually the way. But I like the fact that you were able to apply, that's what it was, apply what you learned about business to your life. I think a lot of people don't realise that life and business, when you're a business owner, are a reflection of one another.
Yeah, really, I agree with that.
So anybody who struggles with money in their personal life, they're going to struggle with it in business.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's you doing both things. So I love the fact that you applied these business strategies to your money and your personal life and your business. That's wonderful, wonderful news to me. So you went on the journey, you went on holidays, you've got 3 kids now. How old are your youngest now?
My youngest is 4 now. When you say it out loud, it's like, wow. But yeah, she's 4 now.
Yeah, to be fair, I had when my youngest turned 4 in November, I had a bit of a, oh my God, my youngest is 4. Not a baby anymore.
Yeah. Oh.
So how did you realise that you needed to sort out some money blocks? What was it that showed up for you?
So I didn't actually come into it in like a realization like that. We were just dealing with life like as time went on. Because like back then when we did the holidays and things like that, my husband was working, I came out of work, so that was more like, I really need to be in charge of like how I'm spending money. And then I got into starting my second business, this one that I'm doing now. And I was networking, which is how we met. And I was at an event all about money mindset, and I'd never heard the concept around money mindset before, which now sounds daft because it's so part of what everything I do. And I was like, right, okay. And I just went to the networking, but the woman that spoke on this session, it literally, and it sounds dramatic, but it did change my life because what she talked about it set me on a path where I left that session, and the next day I looked up. That's when I started doing EFT. I read one of Denise Duffield Thomas's books. I started implementing it. I started journaling around money. I made affirmations around money, and then I realised that if I did all this around business as well, then that could be effective, like around my goals. And even now, this stuff helps, all this mindset stuff, because I've now done it around my health as well. So it's kind of three aspects for me, which is wealth, health, and happiness. And I work along those kind of three pillars. But I started doing the work first on the money, and I didn't realise that it needed even more work than until I actually got started. So I started with like affirmations and setting a goal and stuff like that. And then as time went on, events happened in life that meant I had to kind of face up to money problems like debt and spending and things like that. And so as things evolved, I'm like, I need to go back to the money work and do the money mindset again and again and again and kind of deal with it and face it, because or even though I've done it for years now, things happened that then meant that I needed to revisit that work.
Yeah, I think some people don't actually realise that any sort of mindset work around anything is a continual evolution.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's not a one-hit wonder. You go and sort your money mindset and then you're sorted. Because like you've said, things happen in life and it triggers that default comfort, regularity of, oh, I used to feel like this about this. I'm not quite sure how to cope. Because last time this happened, I did this. I've done all this work, but I haven't kind of instilled that new pattern to this situation. And you feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Is what I could say. You just feel like, I'm not quite sure what to do. I need to work on the money mindset again. And then you do it again, and then it pops up again. And you're like, for God's sake, I thought I dealt with this.
Yeah, and that's taught me a lot actually. It's made me realise that no matter what level you get in like business and life or whatever you're doing with your goals and stuff, we're still facing the same things. Like I have had this month, I've had my highest earning month, but has there still been challenges with money? Yeah, because no matter what, like because your baseline increases, which is what's happened for me. I've took the business that I had and I've started building a team, and my baseline of what I need to pay out has increased and my goals have increased. So everything's the same, just on a like bigger numbers, different level. And I never realised that until now. And actually that's quite comforting to know that I'm still dealing with the same stuff I was dealing with in the beginning, but now I have more awareness and I guess more capability, if that's the right word, to actually deal with it.
Yeah, I think with awareness comes what's the word? Like you'd say capability, but it's like, well, oh, I've dealt with this before. So it's a bit of a comfort blanket to go, and you catch it quicker.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
You catch it a hell of a lot quicker. So you're on the journey, you're going along. Do you mind sharing one of the things that take you off track?
Yes, I can share two big ones actually. One of them I don't know where it started from, but the first one was just before lockdown. I was pregnant with my daughter, and basically I think it was Christmas 2018. My husband by this point had come out of work because of his disabilities. I was doing my business from home. He was having surgeries all the time, and so we were on benefits. And all of a sudden they got stopped. They stopped it. They stopped everything. I had to pay back carers allowance. We had a little savings pot, nothing much, luckily, because it did help. So his PIP was stopped, everything, and we then had to rely on family to support us. So family were like bringing us food shops and stuff, which I'm so grateful for. We did have a little bit of money coming in, so they didn't take it all, but they took a lot basically of our income, just like that, because apparently he didn't qualify. Later on, problem was solved, paid it all back, but still, that didn't discount the stress and the struggles we went through as a family while I was pregnant with our third child. So I had her, and it took a year to sort all this out. So I had her, and I felt stuck, and like I didn't have a choice in what to do. So at that point, I actually applied for a job to work with the NHS, but I only did a few hours because I was adamant I wanted to run a business. But I knew we needed money, so unfortunately, I was like forced to kind of go and work in employed work when she was 6 months old, which I didn't like, because in my eyes, other mothers were still at home at that point, whereas I kind of had to go straight to work. But I'm actually thankful for that, because working where I did on the ward, even though it brought me a lot of anxiety during COVID, because I've worked on COVID ward, it helped with my confidence a lot because of the people I was working with. It helped with my belief a lot. But it did mean that I struggled with money, because I went from well, we had money to nothing, and having to deal with that and manage that. We didn't know what was coming, what was going. And then ironically, once I'd got the job, I was earning a regular income, which was great. But then my business took off, and you'd think that would be amazing, which it was. This is my first business, but it took off so fast that I wasn't prepared for it, and that's when I started getting organised in business.
Yeah.
And starting to put systems in place to help manage it. And then I realised I was good at that bit, but I wasn't good at the money. So I used that bit to help other people set up a business, which is how I became a business coach and mentor. But I wasn't good with the money management. So even though my first business took off, my second business was literally in profit on day one. I signed up clients straight away, which was amazing. But behind the scenes, I had this money coming in that I just kept spending. So I was like gaining a lot of interest in personal development, crystals, things that I love, food. I was spending a lot of money on like takeaways, and it just built up and up and up. I got access to PayPal credit, spent. It's okay because I can pay it later. It's okay because I can pay it later. And I didn't pay it later. I'm paying it now, but I didn't pay it later. So obviously you can imagine how fast that can build. And I wasn't managing it at all. So then I've gone from nothing to something. And I guess it was that fear that I got to spend it now in case it goes away. And I do that, like, now it's more planned spending rather than impulsive. But I do it now still, like, I have to make sure the money's in a pot. I've got a label on it or somewhere to go, through fear I'll lose it. And I think that's all triggered from 2018, 19, when we had my daughter, and all that just kind of went, because I guess a fear of it happening again. And I do feel that a lot, like worst case scenario for me is being jobless or incomeless and not having anything. And I hate relying on other people because I'm so independent. So I guess it brought up a lot of feelings around that once I was making money. So then I kind of dealt with it in a way that affected me and still has an impact now, because we're still paying off the debt.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't actually realise that when they start spending on credit cards and store cards and all this sort of stuff, you can literally get into thousands of pounds worth of debt within a day.
You can, yeah, because it's just so easy. And it's kind of shocking that it's so easy, because I did it on PayPal credit first. And then I remember buying Christmas presents on Studio. So for me, it wasn't the typical credit cards like you'd expect, but it was still credit. So Studio catalogue, PayPal credit, what else was there? Buying things that you could put on like a finance plan. So like I bought a TV on. I bought my husband some gardening gear on a Barclays one on Amazon, because it's so readily available to click the button, and I had a good credit rating, so I got accepted for them all. I have paid those, the gardening and the TV thing off now, but and it's just so easy, and I don't mind a payment plan. I think payment plans are great, but as long as we know we are in control of the money, we know we can meet those payments. Because like I took a payment plan on when I moved into this house, because we had the money, but I said to my husband, if we could spend all the money on this beautiful bed that we're going to spend £1,000 on, or we can do the payment plan, pay £300 now, and then we know we've got the rest of the money to then go get something else for the house. So we chose to do that, and I meet those payments every month. But back then, I probably wouldn't, because my head space around how I was dealing with money probably wasn't in the right place to do something like that. So it is really important to work on it. But yeah, that happened for me and meant that I built up debt. But I don't know how the second it started like with the losing like the benefits and the paper, my husband, and that fight to get back, and me going and starting this employed job. Eventually left that, things were making money but not managing it very well. But then it got worse and became debt, and I don't know what point it turned into building up debt. because it just got worse.
Yeah. It's
And I
like an
felt,
addiction, I think.
yeah, for me, I think it was an addiction to buying things that I like, because I guess there's got to be an unhappiness somewhere
Yeah.
that means spend, and I'm very impulsive. And I think for me, I felt such an imposter because I was there like, build your business, and I was making the money, but I was spending every penny of it. Like, that was one thing that was really, really bad, was spending it on courses, master classes. I've got a bank and library of trainings right now because I've saved them all because I'm organised in other areas
Yeah.
that I've not even watched, not even clicked on, that I bought probably 3 years ago, because I was just buying all of these things. And I'm like, yeah, of course I want to learn how to do YouTube or whatever the course was, but I needed to face up to, do I need to spend that money now or wait? I mean, I've got no guilt around the YouTube one because I know I'll use that course, and it was a banging offer.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't a low cost course. They were like long coaching programs or group programs or trainings and things that necessarily I didn't need. Or what was even worse was I was buying things like social media trainings that I didn't need because I already was doing well with social media, or email courses when I already knew how to do email marketing. So it was just basically validation, I think, spending the money to say I've done this thing or I can do this thing. And it was such a hard cycle to get out of. And honestly, I've only just got out of it, really.
I think that again is another addiction. And I think it comes down to, I think you alluded to it slightly there, is you buy things that you like to make yourself feel good. So
Yeah,
you're trying to get that external, outside of yourself, to feel good on the inside, instead of looking inside to find out why you're not feeling good in the first place. I think
yeah,
that's a huge one that people spend money on. And I think with the other one is buying courses and all that sort of stuff. Like you've just said, it's that validation of, I can do this. Look, I've done this course.
yeah.
And I have seen people get addicted to buying course after course after course because they don't feel good enough with the
That's
skills they've
exactly
already
what was
got.
happening. And I had a chat with one of my previous mentors, and something new around the story came to light, because she was like, "What are you spending money on?" And it was things like takeaways, crystals, courses, because I love learning and I love business and development. And the connection with all of those was the love aspect of it, because I love
Yeah.
crystals, I love learning, I love food. And so she was like, let's get into the money love story. And actually, when I was a child, about 13, well, teenager, um, so my biological dad came into my life again, which is another story in itself. And one of the things he did to make up for lost time was every weekend he was giving us money. In actual fact, and this sounds awful, but we were only going to his because we knew we were going to get money. And so then the story there is, oh, money equals love. When
Yeah.
and that came up. And then another one that came into my awareness through doing the money work was when I was a child and I wanted to do dance lessons because I wanted to be a dancer. Um, and I asked my mum, but we got that I can't afford it. And then my sister was born, age 6, she went and did football. She still does football today. And looking back, I questioned, like, okay, I couldn't afford this, but could afford that. So then I guess that kind of sets in an intention of, okay, well, she gets that. I hate saying this because I know I'm loved by my parents, but beliefs come up around love and money in that scenario. And I wasn't aware of that, but maybe somewhere subconsciously it's there. And especially because there, and I've told my sister this, I don't mind saying it, but there's a little bit of jealousy hit there because her daddy's not the same dad as mine, and she got the better dad.
Yeah.
So, but he's my dad. He's my kid's granddad, and but he's her biological. But I mean, blood doesn't matter. But I wish he was, and I think there that love thing as well is applied, and it kind of had a link. So money and love had a link for me that I needed to break, to have an impact on the way I was self-sabotaging. And I'd like to think I'm breaking that now.
That's a huge one. When I was researching kind of mindset around money and all this sort of stuff, and kind of the difference between um growing up affluent and growing up on low income.
Yeah,
And there are so many, I can't remember the percentage now. There was like 63% of people who grew up with an affluent lifestyle, all they wanted was a cuddle,
Yeah.
not the stuff. And
Mm.
I'm very conscious with my own children about not giving them love with stuff, because stuff doesn't equal love.
That's so true.
And it's something that I think not only you have had that thought and still have that thought, that money equals love. It's a huge, in the money mindset world, it's a huge kind of block for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I've done it with my kids as well, and I think it was last summer, and I'm still guilty of this, and I try and stop, but last summer I had a conversation around money with someone and how I want to save more money because we knew we were going to be moving house, and we did. We saved up quite a bit of money, and we blew it all on the house this year, which I don't regret that because it was for that purpose.
Therefore,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun to do, and you know what? It felt so nice to do. But before that, I was like, right, we're saving for the house. I want to save as much as possible. We know it's coming. I mean, it was delayed anyway, so we could save more. But while we were expecting to get it in summer, and we were hitting summer, I was like, I need to save more now because we had a certain goal basically of £3,000, and basically realised that every time I went to the shop, I couldn't say no to my kids and I was buying them sweets. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, and most of us probably do it. But in the last year or so, the cost of things have risen, haven't they? So it was no longer just give the kids a quid anymore. It was give them £2. So then every time I went to the shop, £6 was spent on sweets. But then because they were getting something, I wanted, because it's food again. I love food, love my kids. So I was buying myself some, buying my husband some because I love him too. And it was like, again, that exchange of, so by the time I've gone to the shop, before I've even gone for the milk or bread, I've spent £10 on unessential stuff that was literally filling with sugar. So when I had this realization, I tested something out and it actually scared me a little bit, which it sounds a bit silly now because it shouldn't. I should be able to just do this. But it was actually when we moved here and we were trying to build up savings again and pay for the things in the house and stuff, pay off debt and stuff. And my son was like, I'm off to the shop, and it was for like bread or milk. Oh, can I come with you? And I said, you can come with me, but I am not going to buy you some sweets. And he was like, well, why? And I was like, because I can't just keep buying you sweets every time we go to the shop because the money adds up. And I wanted to explain to him it's not that we don't have the money, it's that we need to prioritise where the money goes. Because I don't want the kids to get that mindset of, oh, there's not enough money. Because I do believe there is, it's just we have to prioritise where it goes. And so instead to him, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll do you a deal. I would love to buy you a pack of sweets, but rather than just me buy the sweets, give you the sweets and that's it, which I realised was external validation when I was buying it for him. I said, why don't we instead go to the shop, get things that we need, come back, and we have an hour when I finish work to do a board game or whatever you want to do. So at the time, I bought him like a really good 40 board game set. So he's like, oh yeah, let's do that. So he agreed instantly. And then when we'd done the thing, gone to the shop, come back, finished my work, we got this board game set out. We had a couple of games. The other two kids came and joined in. We were having a laugh. Usual argument over the board game because it's what happens.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was like, oh my God, this it replaces that validation because I realised that an hour together meant so much more than me going, here's some sweets. Like just giving him sweets like that, I felt nothing. But having the hour together meant so much more. And I think I need to remind myself of this a lot actually, because it's easy to just go, yeah, you can have the thing, you can have the thing. Because I think maybe because when I was a child, I wanted things that I didn't get, or worth money, or I've got to show them love through buying things. So it's actually changed my perspective on how I spend money for Christmas and birthdays. So I'm on it because I'm sick of clutter and rubbish since we've moved house, and basically I now, instead of just buying them gifts, which I still do because they want things, material things as well. They're always into something new. But I want to spend less money on what I call plastic tap that's going to break and go in a corner. So, especially as the boys are getting older. So I try and think of experience gifts. So my son's birthday is actually next week. And I literally got a £2 basket and I filled it with stuff that like created a hamper. one of them is actually food, but it's like popcorn and Haribo's, and I've got a popcorn machine, so we can make the popcorn together, which links into the experience of family movie nights, because it's actually something we've helped my son's behaviour. Like, if you're going to school nicely all week, we'll do a family movie night, and it's a reward. We get together on a family a Friday, put the movie on, have popcorn. So that was one, and then the other one was baking stuff, which was so cheap to buy and fill a basket with all these different colours of icing and sprinkles and baking ingredients. And he's actually seen it because he's not daft, this kid. It's that far. Says it's from a friend Fiona, and then he's seen it still in the cupboard after Christmas, and he's like, "Oh, why have you not given it him? I just haven't seen Fiona yet." So he thinks it's for Fiona, so he's going to be delighted on Tuesday when he gets it. But basically, the idea is that'll be weeks and weeks worth of baking biscuits and cakes. That'll be stuff we can do every week with him, and the other two will join in together. So
Yeah.
I've changed things to buying experiences and not just buying things. And so I might buy like cinema vouchers, and I use the what's the Meerkat movies, so it's even cheaper.
Yeah.
Bargain. And try and look at where I can create experiences rather than just buy the toys or the sweets or the treats that are literally going to last 2 minutes, so that I can show the kids love through time. Because I think even though they'd like a little Minecraft toy or whatever, that's not exactly going to be something they remember when they're years old and they're talking about mum who's, probably grey and can't barely move. Like, my kids are 50 anyway. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of do that now.
I love that so much. And it's something that my husband and I have done the last 2 years for Christmas.
Yeah.
So last Christmas, not the one just gone, the one before, we bought a National Trust membership.
Oh, what an idea.
And we did every 2 weeks on a Sunday, we'd go to a National Trust together as a family. And that was brilliant. And then this year we've done English Heritage. So we've done one so far. We're going to another one this Sunday. So it's like every 2 weeks we go out for a day together as a family.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like that they had something at Christmas. They'd like 50 quid spent on each of them, material wise. But the big present was a year worth of days out with mum and dad.
I
And
love
like,
that.
on their birthdays, they only get a small like material gift. And what we do is we take them out for the day.
Yeah,
Like,
I do that.
they're both in school. It's like, right, on the Saturday after your birthday, we're going to go out and we're going to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah, we've done that. So we're doing that we couldn't do the Saturday after because kids just get invited to all sorts of parties now, don't they? More sociable than us. So he's actually got a friend, his first friend's party that he's going to, because he's going through autism diagnosis and he finds parties quite challenging, so it's his first one. But we're not going to party for him because he doesn't feel comfortable with it. We learned that last year. So he's actually wanted to invite 3 friends to soft play. So we're doing that this Saturday, just us and his 3 friends. And I'm going to spoil them with like ice cream, and I've done them some lovely little goodie bags that I've made, and yeah, just going to surprise him with them and stuff. And then we'll do the actual on his birthday after school on Tuesday, cake and dinner with us and celebrate with us and sing happy birthday. But just keep it simple with balloons. But yeah, we do exactly the same, like the day experience. So we're going out soft play, but we make an experience of it, because I guess traveling there is an experience in itself.
Yeah.
But they love it. They love going on the bus.
Yeah, I think it's a generalisation, but it is easier just to buy them the stuff.
It is easier, yeah.
It's easier to buy them the stuff. However, I hear this a lot with all the coaches I've worked with. It's presents over presents every single time.
Definitely.
100%. And that's with a CE and a TS.
Yeah. It's actually one of my money goals. Like, I shared this with my audience recently that like I want to earn more money because I can do more with it. And that's not necessarily spending on like, I mean, I'd love a hot tub, but then I'm thinking, no, what if I saved even more money, actually build an extension on the house and actually have a bath, because we have a wet room now for my husband and I miss the bath so much. I'm like, maybe that could be a bigger goal I could get, so we can have the best of both, the safety for him and relaxation for me.
Yeah.
But with like the money and stuff, it's my goal to be able to. There's two kind of aspects to this. One of them is the experiences with the kids, so that we can go and do different things that will include something big like a holiday, or something small like soft play this week, swimming next week.
Yeah.
And then, and it is about prioritizing it, and so that we can make that happen. But then on the other end of it, it's the more money I make, I can spend on small businesses as well. Because this Christmas we bought quite a few things from small business, and I love it. Like, especially down to the personalised stuff. I
Yeah.
really struggle with family gifts, and I struggle for my husband. And getting him something personalised. I mean, he loved his gift. It didn't cost me a lot. It supported a small business, and it was really personal. And that's what I love to do, because it does make a difference. So if I can do that, where it makes my family happy, but also with a gift, but also supports the small business, because I see a lot of small businesses that do the most amazing things, and there's so much I want to buy from them. I just actually want to be able to buy it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I won't spend on them if it's not something I don't need, but or desire or want. But if it is something I like art, I want to support artists, and I want to collect art, and just be able to treat myself to those kind of nice luxury things while supporting another business owner. I think that comes from being a past creator myself, and wanting to support them, and money will allow me to do that. So I do want big holidays, but I don't want to travel every weekend. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
But like, I just think sometimes we believe we have to have this first class lifestyle, but actually high heels and handbags is not for me. I'd rather have the Pizza Hut dinners out with the kids, swimming with the kids, and I mean, I know people do that as well, but I'd rather have the go and support the small business and not have, like, I'm not up for the high heels, definitely not if I even walk in them. But everybody's different, aren't they? But for me, that's what money means. Those are kind of my big money goals. I mean, I have other big money goals, but those are my two main ones. Just the ability to do that. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
without earning my desired income, I'm kind of already doing that, because I've learned to prioritize. So that's quite cool.
It is. It is. And when it comes to money and the energy that you put behind it and what you use it for, that becomes more abundant as
Yeah,
you grow in yourself with your business and your self-belief, and let go of all those things that are holding you down, because you're already living the life that you want to live. It just means you get to do more as your
yeah,
abundance grows, and I think that's the magic behind it all. So many people go, I hear them, you hear them saying it, oh, when I've got X amount of money, I'll do blah blah blah. Why are you waiting?
yeah.
Yes, you might not be able to go to all these different places every weekend, but start with one thing.
Yeah, like I'm always, it's me being me with organisation, but I'm always like, just plan it.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a really good example of what I've done recently. So before I'd be like, I've got loads of debt to pay off, that's priority, and it is. That's like one of my biggest goals right now, is paying that off by May. I've got a deadline and everything, and I've planned it out. I know what I'm doing. But it's like I've given myself a week off in March, and the kids are still at school, but I thought, wow, we could really use this time to do things. So rather than sitting and going, oh, I don't have the money, I thought, right, okay, how can I prioritize the money I do have to make this happen? So even though it's 2 months away, because I think it's the second or third week of March, something like that. So I've got 2 months where I can put a bit of money away each week to go towards this week that we're going to have with the kids. And I'm not going to fill the week, because I know that I'll just tire us out, because I know what we're all like. But reality is, well, I know what's coming in, because I've got, I'm fortunate, I've got a really big client at the minute, that's paying me really well. So I'm like, right, okay, this is the business stuff that I need to pay. This is the money I'm now putting money in a pot for tax. I feel all grown up, which I've never done before. So that's a different,
Yay.
something I've overcome as well. So I'm putting that pot there, because I know I'm going to need it. And then I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to take, and I'm budgeting about £200, because I've looked and been quite savvy and think, right, okay, this is how I can spend it. And just thinking about stuff we've not done before as well. and going off and being able to do that instead of sitting and saying, oh, I can't do that because, or I'll do that when, because when, like, it's like that tomorrow never comes.
Yeah, it's that 8th day of the week, the someday.
Yes.
Everything's sitting in someday, that 8th day of the week that never actually comes.
So that's Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like when you are on like I wouldn't say limited income, but a lower income, there are ways for you to create a way to do exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like last year, I think it was last year or was it the year before? Can't remember now. It was the year before. We wanted to go to Alton Towers. Alton Towers is expensive.
Yeah, good though.
So we managed to get 2 tickets via our Tesco club card points. And we got one via, the Kellogg's vouchers. So we had
Oh
a
yeah.
spare ticket. It was buy one, get one free. But around about, we got 3 tickets and we only spent about 50 quid for 3 tickets, which is nothing.
There's always a way, isn't there? You've just got to be savvy these days, and it can really help.
There's always a way for you to create and do exactly what you want to do. You just need to get creative with it.
Yeah, like for me, I've got a budget of £200, and I know this weekend when we go to soft play for my son's birthday, I've got 150 to spend there, so it can cost me nearly £200 for that one thing. That's not including the blooming tickets either. But it's really good, and they love it. A few hours there, but I know that if they have like a group on Facebook, very small, and they do offers every single day. So instead of pre-booking, if I wait until that morning, I can book a table for £3 per child, which saves me. I think the tickets are like a tenner each. It's going to save me £7 per kid to book in, and then instead of doing dinner at soft play, we'll come home and eat at home, and then it saves us a lot of money. And then I know that then I've got that £200 budget to do something else during that week off, which I think I'm gonna go and brave Ninja Warrior and probably like break my arm or something. But
Oh, that's exciting.
uh,
I've been looking forward to seeing the pictures of the broken arm.
I hope
Social
I
media.
manifested that such fun. Oh,
Yeah, I think you've got a very level head on when it comes to business ownership, parenthood. Obviously, you're a carer for your husband as well, which is an added level of responsibility on your shoulders, as well as being a business owner.
yeah.
You're doing it all, and you've worked through all of the things that have told you that you can't.
Yeah. I just can't wait to announce one day. Like nobody really knows about the debt anyway, but I can't wait to one day say I had £5,000 in debt. I have now got this. I mean, we didn't end up with 5, but then I started paying some off, and then we moved house, and annoyingly British Gas didn't bill us. Water bill, still haven't got that, but I'm not. Whereas before I was worried about not having the water bill, now I'm like, it comes when it comes. They'll sort it out, and then I can just figure out how I'm going to pay it. And I think having that mindset is powerful, to know that you can face it and
Yeah, you can
actually
face
facing it.
everything. To be fair,
Yeah.
I did some writing yesterday. I felt inspired, and one of the things on there that I wrote is that there's some people who get so het up about not having enough money to pay for rent or mortgage, bills, gas bill. And the reality of the situation is, if you don't pay your bill one month because you can't afford it, they're not going to put you off. They're not going to kick you out. 1 month is nothing. So if you're struggling, don't stress about it. Speak to the providers. They have teams of people there to help. And don't think that your world is going to fall apart if you miss one payment.
There's power in that as well, isn't there? Speaking to people about it, you've taken like a level of ownership. I did it last year with I invested in a mentor that I followed for a while and loved, and then I realised I didn't have enough money left in the pot to pay my instalment that month. So before it was due, I reached out and I just let her team know, and the lady who dealt with it spoke to her, and she was like, "Okay, this is the solution. How do you feel about that?" They allowed me to pay a £50 payment that month, and then just raise my other following payments. And I never missed a payment then, because I just got back on track. And I think that is just amazing to just communicate and then deal with it. And it's made me feel a bit more confident in doing that as well. Because I think there's nothing worse, because I've been in a position where I've had payments fail and fail again, and there's nothing worse than getting that dreaded message like, just to let you know your payments failed, or that kind of thing happening. And I guess it's what I'd expect of my clients as well, if they can't make a payment, to reach out, because I can support them. And I have done this for a client. I've adjusted a payment plan so that she can get by for the month because she's had a lower sales month or whatever's happened, and then she just gets back on track, because unfortunately life does happen, and unexpected things that we can't plan for do happen. I would say plan to your best of ability, but we can't always do that. And that has happened for one of my clients, and I'm thankful that I can support her through that, and not just, we've communicated about it, dealt with it, and I think that's powerful and amazing to do.
Yeah, communication is probably one of the biggest things. If you are having money stresses, money worries, or anything, is to communicate with the people that you need to communicate with.
Yeah,
about
definitely.
it. Because nobody's going to turn around and shout at you. Because the person at the end of the phone is a human being.
Yeah.
So I love the transformational journey that you're still actually on.
I am, yeah, and it's always a journey, isn't it? It doesn't stop. Like, I've paid off over half of the debt. I added it up the other day and checked in, and I've actually put a section. So I'm such a geek, I swear, but I don't care anymore. So I organise things, and it's how I cope. And so I did myself like a debt tracking spreadsheet. So at the top it has all the amounts that I did owe, and then as I pay it, I put it in, and then it tells me at the bottom so I can see how much I owe. The formula's not working on the spreadsheet, so that's quite annoying. But I've actually put a section in for the water bill, so as soon as that bill comes in, I can put I owe this, and then I know and I'm aware of it, and I can keep up with it and making sure I'm meeting payments, because it's probably going to be a large bill. I think it's most likely because they can't find us on the map too. But
New house, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it does cause delays, unfortunately, but I just know that I'll sort it out, like I did with British Gas, like I have with PayPal Credit and Studio and whatever else that was on that list before.
I love it. I love it. So if anybody who may be in a situation similar to yours is listening right now, what would be your top 3 things you suggest that they do?
So the first one is face up. No, that's not the first one. First one is do the mindset work on it, because I think when you want to, so my second one is face up, but I think when you want to face up to it, you're going to be stronger in it, more able to do it if you do the money mindset work. So do the work on your mindset around it so that you don't fall into these patterns again, or you're less likely to, and you'll have more awareness. Face up to it. Don't avoid it. Like, that was the biggest thing. And I remember telling my friend about it, and she was so proud of me because she's 10 years older. And she was like, when I was your age, I wouldn't have had the maturity to actually sort it out. She actually has that now. And it made me feel really good about sorting it. And then I guess the final thing is, I've got to say this, get organised and make a plan. Because if you know where your money's coming in, your money's going out, what you can actually contribute to paying off debts, or that dream holiday, because you can have both. You can pay off debts and have days out at the same time, because I'm doing that. And yeah, we could do both. Like, yeah, I would have more money if I didn't have the debt sat there, but I just look forward to May when I know I'll have it paid off, or maybe even before, because I'm doing really good, but I'll have it paid off, and then all the money I'm earning is mine again. So that's just the vision that I've got. So I think organise your plan and have that end goal that sets you free, and you'll be fine. Yeah, I think they're my top 3 tips.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I want to just interject into there as well about what you said about ensuring that even if you have debt to pay off, you are putting money aside for things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Because if your sole purpose for generating income is to pay off debt, you are never going to do it. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
you've got to enjoy things at the same time, don't
Oh,
you?
yeah,
Like,
the way I kind of explain it to people is you are trying to run away from debt, which is over there, and you're heading that way. So if your sole concentration is debt, your focus is over there.
Yes. Oh my God, that's such a good explanation.
Therefore, if you have things in sight that you are looking forward to, that you want to plan, that you're planned, like things that bring you joy, that fill you up, they're in front of you. And yes, you do glance back occasionally because you do have to deal with that. You can't just leave it behind. But you're kind of switching between the two rather than just focusing over there on the debt.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are listening, I'm pointing behind me for debt and in front of me for things that bring you joy. So you're looking behind you constantly, which is going to basically keep you stuck.
I love that analogy. That's going to stick with me, I think.
Let it. I say it all the time, and I think it's so important to realise what you focus on is what you achieve.
Yes.
Know this from the mindset work that you do anyway. That what's in your mind, what you focus on, is what you actually end up achieving.
True. It's so true. I've experienced this a lot. This is how I'm living. I'm sat in the house now that I wanted because me and my husband were seeing them being built, and we were like, one of them houses is going to be ours, one of them houses is going to be ours. And then we started saying it in front of people, and my parents thought we were mad. My mum kind of goes along with these things because she doesn't know what manifestation is. I've had to explain it to her 1,000 times. Like, Mum, you're a manifester, but she does it. Like, she envisions winning the lottery and spending it, and my dad thinks it's silly. And I used to think it's silly, but now I'm going along with her. Yeah, Mum, we're going to do this and we're going to do that because it's fun and exciting. Anyway, we did it with a house, and my dad thought we was loopy. And he's like, but if you don't get it, you'll be disappointed. But because I was focusing on it, I then took actions to find out about the house. I applied. We had to go through like a budgeting plan thing, let them know our income and stuff, and like what benefits, like my husband's PIP that he was on and stuff, so that they could check things over. Because they were really funny about who came into these houses, and so I just took action and I did the things. I did more than that, but did things, and then we got the email. No, I got a phone call one day and we got the house and we were able to get these homes that they are disability adapted to a point because I think the new builds are now, aren't they? But we got told we were going to have the wet floor incorporated into the build, and this does not happen. It's so rare. And my jaw hit the floor. I was like, because my husband will end up in a wheelchair one day, so to have a home that is set up for that day, whether that's 20 years, 30 years, it's just amazing. And we manifested that, and I'm just so grateful that we did, and I truly believe we did because we envisioned it, we talked about it, we made it a thing, but I took action on it as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's I think sometimes when you talk about manifestation, that's what people forget to do.
Take action. Yeah.
Say if you've listened to or read The Secret. The Secret tells you how to manifest to a certain point, but it doesn't tell you how to create the manifestation, which is the action. What action are you taking every single day to create what it is that you're trying to manifest? And that's what annoys me about that book.
Yeah, I agree.
So I really loved chatting to you today, and thank you for your 3 final tips and that little caveat at the end. And yeah, if you want to follow Dani and look at what she's up to, all of her links and everything will be in the show notes below. And yeah, reach out and say hi. Thank you very much. Are you ready to become a wealth warrior in 2024? If so, come and follow me on Instagram at I am Leah Crowfoot, where you can find out more about how you can become a wealth warrior through your own money mindset transformation.